This is the Beef Podcast, presented by Beefy Marketing in partnership with Community Bank of Texas, an FDIC member and equal housing lender.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of The Beef. As always, I'm your host, John Kelly, a.k.a. John the Marketer on Instagram. Make sure that you slide over there, slide into my DMs, take a look at what we have going on, and see if anything piques your interest, man. We're on TikTok now, too. So we're making TikTok videos here. I made one the day that we recorded this episode, day in the life of a podcaster. Kind of came in here, showed off the studio, some of our equipment, and what we have going on. So make sure you're following all those social channels for some fun stuff and some informational things for business owners as well. Today in the studio, we have Beverly with the Arbor Gate. See, I wrote it down and I still have to misspeak. Beverly with the Arbor Gate. Beverly, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I always say this, but I've been a customer of yours before, and then hopefully we're going to be a customer again here soon, getting some trees in our backyard. But I like that place out there, man, and a lot of people seem to like it out there.
Thank you. I'm kind of fond of it myself.
As a business owner, we kind of take ownership beyond just, we own it, we make money off of it, we like it. It kind of becomes our child in a way.
Very much so.
So we're excited to have you on the show, as I say, every single week when we release these things. But truly I am, just because I can't wait to get into some of these topics about your place that's so unique from other places that we've had on the show today. But before we hop into that, I always stop and get an icebreaker question out. That way we can just kind of see where we're thinking, where our head's at. So today's icebreaker question is, what is a habit at work that you would like to change?
That's really a tough one.
It is. I'll go ahead and answer and give you time to think.
Okay.
Because for me, my bad habit just happened today.
Oh, yeah?
And that is, we like to eat really good around here. And I've been on a health kick lately. So I've lost about 35 pounds so far.
Oh, congratulations.
And we've been working out and we've been eating healthy. And then Thanksgiving happened. And it was like,
downhill slide, huh?
Downhill slide. I've been on and off. So I get really bad and then I come back to reality. I'm like, hey, I'm good. And then some days like today, Andrew just says, you know what you should do is have Potbelly put that cookie inside of your milkshake when you eat it. And then I just go real chunky and I eat a cookie inside of my milkshake. So that's my bad habit at work, honestly. Here we have a lot of really good, healthy habits as far as our headspace is always right, because if we need to just go have lunch and chill, drink a beer and relax for a second because the day's been crazy, then that's what we do. If we need a mental health day, we just stay home and just have your mental health day. As long as your work gets done.
Right.
It's not like that Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, that if you don't clock in, you're not getting paid. No, if you need a mental health day so that when you go talk to a client, you're in the right headspace, then take it.
Well, but also when you're an entrepreneur and have your own business, it's a 24/7 job.
That is no lie.
You never leave it.
I think last night, I say last night, but really it was this morning from about midnight to 1 a.m., I was on Facebook just answering some people's questions that they had about small business stuff, like who can help me with social media, who can help me with the website, those kind of things, and giving pointers, So you're right. The work never stops.
No.
24/7.
And if you do catch up, you're out of business.
Yeah. That's the honest to God truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you, I always tell people that when they tell me, I'm like, hey, how's it going? They're like, oh, just busy, too busy, got too much going on. I'm like, well, that's a good thing.
It's a great thing.
Yeah. I'd rather have too much going on and tell people, hey, I'm sorry, we can't handle your work.
Right.
Than be saying, wow, how are we going to pay rent next month?
That's right. Grateful. Very grateful to be busy.
For sure. I'll tell you a phenomenon that I've kind of come across lately is I've had a few friends on the show and talk to them about being on the show, some that haven't made it yet. And they're like, man, I don't know if I'm in the right place to do it yet. I'm like, well, why? It's just a conversation. We're just talking. That's it. Two friends. And they're like, well, I'm too busy. And I'm like, boy, what a thing to say. I've never thought in my mind, I don't want to market or I don't want to gain new followers at least. If you're too busy, just say no.
Right.
I can't handle the work right now. Or, hey, I can't handle it until April or May of next year.
Right.
But as far as gaining a following, I still want to get my story out there.
Absolutely.
Even if you had no other spots available for people to come shop in your place because every single day you're too packed, well, still want to get your story out there.
And those aren't every day.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it may be busy some days, but
there's a lot of days it's not.
When you
That's
have
right.
every single day somebody selling something, you need every single day packed.
That's right.
Well, did you think about your answer yet?
I've been thinking about it. I still don't have one.
I've been talking too much.
That's okay. You're great.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that'd be my habit there. So I guess what we'll do is we'll just let you skip it. That's fine.
Okay, good.
We run this thing. We can do what we want to. So, on that note, then right before we hop into it, as always, I have to stop and take a second to talk about Community Bank of Texas. Community Bank of Texas is a partner in this podcast. They've been a tremendous sponsor for us so far. They committed to a year long of just helping us to get this podcast out there. Something we were going to do regardless if they were going to be a part of it or not. We were actually recording episodes prior to ever even booking them as a sponsor. We had to redo our intro and outro and everything for the show. But they stepped on and they said, hey, we want to help small businesses, come out here and tell their story. And, we've had some great successful companies on here that I wouldn't even call a small business. And then we've had some businesses that are just starting out. And no matter who they are, we still want to help them, and Community Bank wants to help them. Because Community Bank of Texas knows that especially now, the experience and availability of a banking partner is crucial. Community Bank of Texas is here to help your business, and their bankers have been working diligently to give clients the support that they need during challenging economic times. As a business owner, a lot of things keep us up at night, and a bank should not be one of them. But when you bank with Community Bank of Texas, you have the freedom to focus on your business commitments instead of worrying about the commitment of your banker. Community Bank of Texas is proudly committed to partnering with you and your business through it all. Short-term hurdles, long-term growth, countless new directions, freezes like we talked about before we even started this show, COVID, all of that stuff has created real problems. And Community Bank of Texas is there to be a partner during all of that. When it comes to doing business, Community Bank of Texas simply delivers a better banking experience. They're a foundation you can build your business on for decades to come. Community Bank of Texas is business banking, better banking, member FDIC, and equal housing lender. But jumping back into the show, what we're here for. Who is Beverly? Where'd you come from? And how'd you become an entrepreneur?
Well, actually, I'm a native Houstonian. So I came from the West Side Spring Branch area. It's where I grew up. Becoming an entrepreneur, I never really thought about it exactly in those terms. Of course, I wanted to open a business, so I guess that doesn't really make sense to say that. But my approach, or why I wanted to begin the Arbor Gate, is I'm an avid gardener. I grew up gardening with my mom. I joined my first garden club in the 6th grade. We had an after-school program, and they had a garden club. So that's always been something that was dear to my heart. And I would travel miles looking for a place that I wanted to shop, or a place, I'd read about all these great plants. You'd go to kind of a box store, or you would go to a chain nursery, and they wouldn't have heard of it, or they don't know where to get it. Mm-hmm. So I was always in search of these little niche nurseries and places. I found a few here and there, but just decided, you know what? I think I want to open a nursery. So I would have everything there for the other people like me, to offer things not that were hard to grow, but hard to find. Mm-hmm. Offer advice, offer sound advice, offer good advice, educated advice. And it was just always been a passion. And after my children became grown, I thought, if I don't try, I'll never know.
That's a fair point. Yeah. And like you said, I think when we talk about like inventions, for instance, they always say inventions come out of need. And it would make sense that we kind of do the same thing in business, where It's like, hey, there's a need for this. If there's not, then why are you going into business doing it?
Right.
And so that makes perfect sense. So what did you do before opening this as an entrepreneur? Did you have any other type of businesses you ever got into?
I did. No, I didn't. Okay. I did, worked in the banking field for a while in real estate. So I always worked.
Right.
But this was my passion.
Yeah. It's that old saying, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life.
Right.
And it's worth it sometimes.
Yeah.
until
it
you're
is.
up at midnight and you're worried or
Yeah.
you know
Yeah,
something
but then
happens.
you go in the next day and that first customer comes in and says, "My garden looks so beautiful. Let me show you the pictures. I love it." I mean, it makes it worthwhile. It's fun.
Agreed. So what does the Arbor Gate offer that is so different from those big box stores?
Well, what we do offer first and foremost is education. We want our customers to be well educated on the climate, on how to plant, what to plant, where to plant, when to plant. So we feel like that's very important. Unfortunately, with the current situation, we're not able to offer the classes that we typically do. I think we were probably one of the first garden centers in the whole area that offered educational classes to our customers at no charge. That's extremely important. So I'd have to say right now, education, number one, and of course, quality service. I mean, we have celebrity service for each one of our customers. We want everyone to have a great experience. We offer plants that are, again, not hard to grow, just hard to find. And in doing that, we work with a lot of small independent growers as we're a small independent nursery.
Mm-hmm.
So we're able to bring in product and work with them one-on-one. Grow this for me. Look what I found. Can you do this for me? So our vegetables, they're all locally grown. Our herbs are all locally grown. So I think that's so important that we offer local product. So you're going to be more successful because those plants are acclimated to our climate. And they're plants that grow here.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah. So I think that's real important. And then we offer garden art. A garden is not just the greenery or the shrubs or the flowers or the plants. It's your palette. So you paint it with art or whatever pleases you. So we want to offer a lot of that, and we work a lot with, again, local artisans. So we're trying to bring the community together there. And then we have 2 gift shops. So we have home decor, we have gifts. We have specialty food items, a lot of them local. So we want to have a reason for someone to come shopping, not just to buy a plant.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty there for sure. It's such a big space. And I think when my wife and I went, we just kind of walked mainly just around where like the little greenhouse areas are that have everything on display. And I mean, it can be overwhelming, honestly, because there's so much to choose from.
There's a lot.
And like you said, with the education, it is so important because I don't have a green thumb.
Well, sure you do.
I don't know how to activate it. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm like, come on.
Sure you do.
Yeah. So, I think that's awesome that y'all have all of those other things that you can buy there too, the home decor and stuff like that. Is it all outdoor stuff or do you have any indoor stuff?
Oh, no. A lot of indoor stuff.
Okay.
A lot of home, lamps and furniture, accent furniture pieces. A lot of art.
So see, we were there and I never even made it to that point. When I came and visited you a few days ago, that was the first time I actually went inside.
Yeah.
Everything was outside. And I'll tell you, when we did come by, I had to park on the road and down a ways. So on those busy days, what are y'all doing? Just existing on a Saturday in Texas?
Well, there was having that apocalyptic freeze that occurred in February, created a sense of panic with a lot of people. So it was an extraordinary period of time, about 90 days there, that it was rather interesting, to say the least. But that, in almost 26 years of business, that situation has never occurred before, nor do I foresee it again. And we were so blessed to have it because we lost our plants too.
Mm-hmm.
So having that little surge there really enabled us to make it through a very difficult time.
Yeah. And I mean, did COVID affect the sales as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Fortunately, we were deemed an essential business, so we never closed.
Yeah.
And we're outdoors for the most part.
Right.
So that makes a huge difference. But, you have to offer curbside pickup and shopping, therefore, on phone. Well, you can't shop well for plants
It's rough.
like that. And, you had to hire staff that did nothing but stand there and load curbside. And then you also miss those add-on sales. They could call and say, I want 3 tomato plants. Well, that's all they're going to buy. They're not going to buy, well, let me pick this up and let me pick that up. And I need some new gloves and I need a new hat. I need a trowel. So you lose all that, yet your cost of doing business is greater.
Yeah, I read a research paper about that I guess when online shopping first got really big, with like these grocery stores being able to order a pickup, they said that whenever you order groceries online, for instance, that you tend to spend less and save more, which is shocking because they actually charge more for those most places.
Right.
And then on top of that, you eat healthier. Mm-hmm. You make better decisions. And it all comes down to those marketing principles of just like you said, when I'm in there, in your shop, if you will, and I'm picking those 3 tomato plants, and then you're like, what goes great with tomatoes is onions and jalapenos
and cilantro
and everything else you need in pico de gallo, right? And you upsell me on that, or you even just say, hey, you know what, you're gonna need like this lattice for. Again, I'm not a gardener, but I think you need lattice for the tomatoes, right, to help them.
Yeah, you need a cage.
Stand up, and like all those little things that you can sell on top of that the customer just doesn't know when they call in and say, I want 3 tomato plants. That's it.
Right.
But I guess on one hand too, if that person wasn't going to come into your store, it's better to at least get that sale.
Sure, absolutely. At least you're making some contact, but again, you're losing that personal contact, which is so very important.
Coming in and talking to you about, our tree situation in the backyard, I think you educated me for about 20 minutes first, right there.
Right.
Of just, hey, these are the types of trees we offer, and this is the type of stuff that we can get, and here's what you're going to want if you're wanting something that's going to grow fast and provide a little bit of shade, or the way your backyard looks, you can do this. And it was a really good personal conversation.
Thank you.
That if I would have just called on the phone, not that you wouldn't have offered the same, but it just would not have had the same effect.
Correct. Yeah.
It's very impersonal, I think.
Right. And especially with something like plants, there are so many factors, variables in someone's landscape that you really need to have a conversation.
And I want to see them too.
Absolutely.
Because there's no way I'm going to put something in my backyard like a tree and not know what that tree looks like now and what it's going to look like in the future too. Exactly.
And know how to plant it and how to care for it. That's all part of the package. I think a lot of people get discouraged in gardening because they do every spring push their cart through Lowe's or whatever. This is pretty, this is pretty, this is pretty, not knowing that they're planting something that will die when it gets hot. Well, it's not their fault. They just bought the wrong plant. Mm-hmm. But it discourages them. So we want you to be educated. We want you to be successful, because then you'll continue to garden.
Right. And if I'm not going to continue, I'm not going to come back to your shop. It makes perfect sense from a marketing standpoint.
Sure.
Do y'all do any types of events or anything out there?
Not right now. But again, we used to do the classes. And those were very educational. Even the master gardeners could use them as their continuing education credits.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we would have, professors from A&M, Stephen F. Austin, the Rose Society, the Herb Society, so really a broad spectrum of classes to reach a lot of people. And we enjoyed them. We enjoyed offering them, and they're complimentary to our customers. And hopefully we'll get back to them soon.
I was going to say, did you have any type of idea? Are we just waiting on the numbers to continue to drop for COVID? Is that the problem?
Well, I would just people to feel more comfortable.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
we're definitely, everybody's pretty diverse on their thoughts on all of that stuff.
They are.
I can understand where you might not have the turnout you did. May not be worth it.
Right. And again, we're outdoors. So there's really not like you're going to be packed into a crowded room.
Right.
You're outside in the sunshine. So it's a really safe environment, even just to shop. But I think it's better that we hold off just a bit more.
That's understandable. Yeah, and who knows, by the time this actually airs, y'all may already have resumed those classes too.
Right.
Just depends on, when we launch it. I tell everybody almost every episode, I think we're about 25 episodes into this thing so far. And that number grows every time I talk about it. And man, it's been a blessing getting to hear some really cool stories.
Right.
So do you have any business partners or anything
No.
that are a part
My
of it? So this
husband.
is you and your husband. That's it. The true mom and pop shop.
We are truly a mom and pop shop.
That's killer. Any kids or anything?
Yeah, grandkids.
All grown kids.
Yeah.
Do they help out with the business at all?
Yeah,
or?
they do. They do. They don't have quite the passion. They have other careers, but quite the passion, but they do. Absolutely.
I would say it probably takes a special type of person to have a true passion for gardening and for landscaping and, making your place look good.
Well, it's not only that, but it's just very good for the soul. It's very therapeutic. It's very rewarding. It's very calming. It's very peaceful. So it's nice when you go home in the evening and sit outside, or get it in the morning, go sit out with your cup of coffee and watch the hummingbirds and the butterflies, and just to be quiet and be still and listen.
We're missing out on that.
Really are.
In today's society.
Really are.
I
think that's the blessing in COVID.
Yep.
I think it has brought more people back home,
back
to family,
Yep.
back to those principles, but back to gardening. And it's really been great for children, because it's amazing to me how few children actually know where their food comes from.
Yes.
And they're afraid of honeybees. Don't be afraid of honeybees.
I know.
When they come in and they scream, and I'm like, no, come look,
Yeah.
Because we have our own hives there. We sell our own organic honey.
Oh,
that
well,
is right on the property.
Oh, yeah. I'd have bought a jar while I was there.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's nice because the flavor changes, with the seasons. So
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm a big local honey fan. I think it's just obviously the flavor that you get out of it is so different than what you get in a store.
Sure.
And it's I even like it when they have like that honeycomb right there. Big old chunk. Definitely life-changing to me, but I'm somebody that can just take, a tablespoon of honey and just
every
eat
day.
it
It's
too.
really good for you.
It's good for a sweetener as well.
Yeah.
I love it as a sweetener. Not that I need it, but it's better for you than sugar. I'll say
That's
that.
right. That's right.
Awesome. Well, what's the best way for us to support you?
Come shop.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we do have a very interactive website.
Okay.
We have a very informative newsletter people can subscribe to. It's very secure. We don't share any information from our followers. We're fairly active on Facebook, Instagram, and we have an amazing blog.
That's a big deal.
An incredible blog. We have people such as Greg Grant, who's a well-known horticulturalist in Texas. His story is amazing, but he's an incredible writer. But it's like sitting here and talking to you when you read his. It's not elevated,
right,
out of reach for the common person. I can't wait for his blogs to come out every month.